In the long and tumultuous struggle for India's independence, some names echoed across the world: Gandhi, Nehru, Jinnah, and Chandra Bose. But hidden behind those louder voices was a man who lived with simplicity, wrote with passion, and fought with unshakable faith. A man who called for complete independence when even the Congress dared not. A man who was both a staunch Muslim and a fierce nationalist. This is the story of Maulana Hasrat Mohani, the revolutionary saint who lived and died for freedom, faith, and justice. Born on October 1st, 1875, in Mohan, a small town in the Unnao district of present-day Uttar Pradesh, Syed Fazlul Hasan, who would later be known as Hasrat Mohani, was born into a deeply religious Muslim family. From a young age, he displayed two qualities that would define his life: a love for poetry and an uncompromising sense of justice. He studied at Aligarh Muslim University, where he was influenced by the reformist ideas of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, yet he refused to be confined by moderate thought. Hasrat Mohani was a thinker who questioned everything, from British rule to social hypocrisy, even within his own community. He completed his bachelor's degree in 1903 at Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College on scholarship, but before that, he had been expelled from the college on 3 occasions for his criticism of the British government. Showing that Hasrat Mohani was a revolutionary from the start. By his 20s, Hasrat Mohani had already made a name for himself as a brilliant Urdu poet. His poems, rich in mysticism and love, carried the fragrance of the Sufi tradition. But behind his tender verses lay a burning revolutionary spirit. He was the first person to use the slogan, "Long live the revolution," a phrase that would later echo across India's freedom movement, from Bhagat Singh to Subhas Chandra Bose. Unlike many others, his vision of revolution was not rooted in power, but in equality, spirituality, and liberation for all. His poetry became his protest, and his pen his weapon. What made Hasrat Mohani truly unique was the harmony he created between his faith and his politics. He performed Hajj every year, traveling to Mecca in the simplest of ways, often carrying his own luggage. He lived a life of zuhd, ascetic simplicity, eating little, sleeping less, and giving most of what he had to others. Yet he was no orthodox conservative. He believed Islam stood for equality, justice, and resistance against oppression. For him, to be a true Muslim was to stand against tyranny, whether British or domestic. Mohani was a member of the Indian National Congress for many years and joined the All India Muslim League, serving as its president in 1919. He opposed the partition of India. In 1903, Hasrat Mohani founded the Urdu Journal in Aligarh, a magazine that became a voice of political dissent. Through his writings, he criticized British rule and called for complete independence, decades before others dared to utter the word Azadi. For this, the British imprisoned him several times. In 1908, he was sentenced to rigorous imprisonment in the notorious Alipore jail. But even in prison, he continued to write poems that blended divine love with political defiance. Quote on screen, "The desire for martyrdom now resides in our hearts." These words became an anthem for revolutionaries across the subcontinent. In 1921, at the Ahmedabad session of the Indian National Congress, Hasrat Mohani shocked everyone. While leaders like Gandhi and Nehru were still asking for dominion status, limited autonomy under British rule, Hasrat Mohani boldly proposed a resolution demanding complete independence. At the time, his demand was rejected as too radical. But 18 years later, in 1939, Congress finally adopted the same slogan. Hasrat Mohani had seen the future long before others dared to dream it. After complete independence from British rule, Mohani wanted a confederal setup on the pattern of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. He wanted to see a confederal constitution in India after freedom from the British. His proposal had 6 federations: 1. East Pakistan; 2. West Pakistan; 3. Central India; 4. Southeastern India; 5. Southwestern India; and 6. Hyderabad Deccan. After the declaration of the partition plan on the 3rd of June 1947, Mohani resigned as a member of the All India Muslim League, and when the division of the country occurred, he chose to live in India. He became a member of the Constituent Assembly of India, which drafted the Indian Constitution. To represent the remaining Indian Muslims on different platforms, Mohani chose to live in India rather than migrate to Pakistan. Hasrat Mohani was not only a nationalist, he was a leading voice for Muslim intellectuals. He was among the founders of the All India Muslim League, yet he opposed its later demand for Pakistan. He envisioned a united India where Muslims and Hindus could live together with dignity. To him, nationalism and Islam were not contradictory. They were intertwined in justice, freedom, and equality. He once said, "I am a Muslim, and my religion teaches me to love my country and fight against oppression." Hasrat Mohani's independence of thought often put him at odds with both the British and Indian leaders. He criticized Gandhi's compromises with the British, and he opposed Jinnah's two-nation theory. He was equally critical of the feudal elite within the Muslim League who, he believed, were using religion for political gain. Despite being a practicing Muslim and scholar of the Quran, he openly supported socialist ideals, advocating for the rights of peasants and laborers. His blend of Islam and socialism baffled many and angered conservatives, but he never backed down. Despite his stature, Hasrat Mohani lived like a poor man. He refused government pensions, wore simple clothes, and lived in a small house in Delhi. He would often say, "I will not take a single paisa from the government of a country that still has poor people." Even his opponents respected him for his humility and moral strength. He was a living symbol of faith without fanaticism and nationalism without hatred. Maulana Hasrat Mohani passed away in 1951, leaving behind a legacy that transcends time. His tomb lies in Lucknow, visited by poets, students, and activists alike. He was not just a poet or a politician. He was a bridge between faith and freedom, a reminder that true revolution begins with the soul. Today, as the world struggles with division, extremism, and loss of moral compass, Hasrat Mohani's life remains a beacon, showing how one can be deeply religious yet progressive, nationalist yet humane, and revolutionary yet peaceful. In an age where faith is often twisted for power, Hasrat Mohani's message stands tall, that Islam and freedom are not enemies, they are allies. That love for God must mean love for humanity, and that true revolution lies not in slogans, but in living a life of courage, truth, and compassion.